Good afternoon and welcome to Relationship and Marriage Conversations. To those of you joining us for the first time, to those of you coming again, welcome. And yes, I'm excited about today's conversation, but I think what makes these sessions engaging is your contribution. So please, if you're shy, if you don't want your partner to know what it is you're asking, do definitely get onto that Slido. There's a Wi-Fi password provided, and yes, get on the app and pose your questions so that they are anonymous. However, if you're brave enough, please ask for a mic. There are roaming mics in the room, and let's get engaging. Let's garner insights together this afternoon. Over to you.
Oh, thank you. Welcome once again. So today we want to talk about the power of personal accountability. The power of personal accountability. We want to have people this side.
Yes, please.
So that our necks don't break.
Yes.
Let's have some people this side. You can even take
sit right anywhere. You can even sit right in front.
All right. So today we want to talk about the power of personal accountability, and I think this really comes from a number of sessions that we have had where individuals or couples in the relationship complains a lot that my wife or my husband, lacks accountability. How many of us are aware that for any relationship to truly work, there has to be some level of accountability? There are people that even today struggle to tell their partner where they are, what time they're coming back to the house, because they think that why should I be reporting to another person? Is she my boss, or is he my boss? But I think after much reflection around the issue and the debate around accountability, we have also come to conclude that you cannot hold your partner accountable if they are not. If a person gets into the relationship and they truly have no personal accountability, they can never be accountable in the context of the relationship. And in fact, if you try to force accountability, they'll find different ways and means to either blame you or to be rebellious or to just make the relationship really become difficult. So accountability starts really at a personal level before it becomes that which is required within the context of a relationship. So one of the greatest determinants of a relationship success and failure isn't so much about romantic relationship compatibility or chemistry. I know sometimes we also put emphasis on communication. Sometimes it's not so much about also communication, because all of these really are based on the establishment of personal accountability. So for the relationship to work, to thrive, and to grow to where it's supposed to be, there has to be some level of accountability. So some of the challenges that happens in the relationship, the failure of relationships as well, really comes from this idea that it starts with the person in the relationship, or both individuals in the relationship, stopping to hold themselves accountable before they are held accountable within the relationship context. A relationship will only grow to the level of accountability within it. You cannot build a mature partnership on an immature foundation. So we all want relationships that are working, thriving, and we are enjoying. But all of that are a byproduct of the foundation. So the foundation is either the foundation is mature or the foundation is immature. And one of the signs that the relationship is mature is that individuals in that relationship hold themselves accountable at a personal level. They don't wait for the other person to hold them accountable. Somebody said this, accountability is the glue that bonds commitment to character. What is personal accountability? personal accountability is the willingness to own your thoughts. I want you to, because this is the foundation that we want to lay, and I want you to start just, even as my wife will come in, to start internalizing some of the things that I'm going to begin to say. So personal accountability is the willingness to own your thoughts. You cannot blame your partner in terms of what you are thinking. So if you have started to develop bad thoughts or negative thoughts towards your partner, that is your responsibility. It's not your partner's responsibility. Regardless of what your partner has been up to, you have a responsibility to direct your thoughts in a way that will honor your commitment in that relationship. Part of personal accountability is also to own your emotions. Your emotions are yours, and you have a responsibility to direct, to lead, to guide your emotions in a way that speaks to truly what you have committed to as far as your relationship is concerned. So this then speaks to the fact that no matter what your partner does to you, you have no control of what they say, what they do, but your response will always be your responsibility. Are we together? So your emotions and how you respond isn't so much about what has been done or what has been said to you. It has everything to say about who you are as a person. So accountability also involves your behavior. You know, we spoke about last time when we were here about silent treatment, that your partner offends you, or you kind of struggle to resolve your conflict, and then you start to you introduce silent treatment in the relationship. You know, your partner is asking where's tea, or where's this. You're not responding. You can't say that you are the one who has made me the way I am today because of what you say. Your behavior will always be your responsibility. Your partner's behavior will also be their responsibility. This also includes that in personal accountability, it also is that we are responsible for our choices. So if your partner offends you and you decide to insult them, that was your personal choice. It was not a byproduct of what your partner did to you. That is personal responsibility. In personal responsibility, we own our thoughts, we own our emotions, we own our behaviors, we own our choices without blaming your partner for your past, for your stress, or for your circumstances. This, when we are talking about personal accountability, is that we're living in a world where a number of things are going on within our own personal lives. Maybe you are stressed at your workplace. Maybe you are stressed. There are things that are going on in your family, and some of these things are a way of causing us to mistreat the individuals around us that are supposed to be supporting us when we are going through trying times. Personal responsibility says that if you are stressed, you cannot blame your stress for mistreating your partner or for being rude to your partner. That is personal. So you can't say, no, I think that I responded to you the way I responded to you because I'm going through a lot. You are not being responsible, and you are not holding yourself accountable. So in other words, is that our emotions, our thoughts, our responses, and our behavior becomes our responsibility. And if we make errors in the way we are responding to situations, in the way we are speaking, because there are certain things that have triggered us, and we have gone ahead to say certain things towards our partner, we cannot blame the circumstances for our behavior. We must hold ourselves accountable. This is important because you don't have to wait for your partner to tell you that you are rude. Because if you're not seeing yourself as a rude person, or as a person whose behavior is not really supporting the health of a relationship, it's going to become very difficult for you to be held accountable. within the relationship because you truly, as a person, are not holding yourself accountable. How does personal accountability looks like? Personal accountability looks like when you have made a mistake, you have the willingness, the humility to go back and say, I was wrong, right? I take responsibility for how I handled the situation. I see how my actions affected you, even if that wasn't my intention. There's no blame in this conversation. There's just one person taking full responsibility for their own actions. I don't need to defend myself right now. I need to listen to you. This is a person that is holding themselves accountable. This has nothing to do with what your partner did. This has everything to do with your contribution in making the situation become worse. The opposite of a person, the opposite of personal accountability to sound like this. First of all, it involves blame shifting. If you hadn't, or if you didn't speak to me in a rude way, I would have not responded to you that way. Also, where there's lack of personal accountability, there'll always be defensiveness. Your partner speaks to you, you don't own what they're trying to communicate to you, you are always defending yourself. That actually speaks to the fact that you as an individual, you are lacking accountability. It also involves excuses. Something has been done, or you have said, you have spoken to your partner in a particular way that is not great. Instead of taking ownership, you come up with excuses as to why you actually behaved in a certain way. So in personal accountability, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot blame external circumstances for our behavior in terms of how we are showing up in the context of a relationship. Accountability is not about taking all the blame. I want to clarify that as well. It is about taking your part of the responsibility. Even if a conflict that you got involved in, your partner was the one to blame 90% of that. You in personal accountability, we are saying, even if I contributed 10% to where we are in our relationship or in this conflict, I'm going to take ownership. I'm not going to say that because my wife was wrong 90%, I'm not going to own my 10%. So this really requires all of us, whenever we find ourselves in situations where we are having either conflicts or we are having challenges, to keep on asking ourselves to say, what am I contributing to this situation that is making this situation worse? Because we are wired to think of what she has only done, which is wrong, and unless she changes, unless she comes and apologizes, then I'm going to feel great. When that becomes the way we are working around relationship, it's actually saying that we are lacking personal accountability. Over to you, Bala.
About that. So there's a quote by Viktor Frankl which says, between stimulus and response, there's a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. Yeah? So, before we can call ourselves or other people to accountability, it becomes very important to understand, why is it difficult to hold oneself, yourself, myself accountable? Why is it difficult? It seems easier to shift the blame, to say it's because I had a stressful day at work and my boss said A, B, C, D, and that is why I'm responding the way I do. So the truth is that when it comes to accountability, it rarely grows if we're going to keep shaming someone in our relationship. So in conflict, pride resists admitting fault. Even where you know you are in error, you've erred, you should be admitting, I was wrong. Pride tends to equate being wrong or that admission of wrong with, weakness. So what often happens is that the focus then shifts. Instead of repairing what has been broken, you tend to self-preserve, you protect yourself. So in a situation, pride says, protect your image at all costs. I mean, we've come together. At times we've vowed before a pastor, before a church, a congregation, family. Yet you find that when conflict is happening, we want to protect our image at all costs. Husband and wife. Why? Humility, however, says, pursue growth. Even at the cost of my ego, I should pursue growth. So humility is not humiliation. Sometimes a lot of us think, admitting that fault or being humble in a situation means I'm now choosing humiliation. No. If anything, being humble is choosing growth over your image. It's agreeing with the truth so that love can win, so that love can lead in that situation. James 4:6 says, God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. So grace increases where humility grows. Okay. Then the second one, around why we tend to struggle with personal accountability, is this fear of rejection and shame. There's almost this attachment alarm that goes off in people. So for many people, admitting fault triggers this deep fear of the fact that if I'm wrong and I own up to being wrong, I'm going to be rejected. He will walk away. She will walk away. Whereas we're unpacking fear of rejection and shame here. Shame says, if I fail at this, I am unworthy of his love, of her love. So instead, what tends to mushroom is defensiveness. And you use that defensiveness as a shield in that relationship. So instead of taking responsibility, one chooses to protect themselves by avoiding responsibility. And it's so funny. I'm sure a number of us have heard of the fact that, a lot of the time where we shy away from admitting fault because we're trying to keep someone in the relationship, that often ends up pushing that person away. So what often happens is that the irony in relationship is that avoiding being accountable, avoiding the responsibility that you often take, that you should be taking part of it, often creates the very distance that you're afraid of creating. So it's important to separate identity from behavior. You are loved. You are worthy of dignity. I mean, Romans 8:1 says, there is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. So accountability is not condemnation. It is not at all. It's instead a call to walk in light, to lead with love. The third aspect is past conditioning. We all come from different backgrounds and we're corrected differently in our homes. So whether we were corrected or not corrected growing up often becomes how we actually handle feedback in relationships. When we're dating, when we marry, that often informs that. So if you come from a home where mistakes were punished, and they could have been punished either harshly, whether words were used to punish those mistakes verbally, physically, or emotionally. If criticism was constant and love felt conditional, and I want to urge us around criticism, because sometimes people like to joke around criticism. So they will laughingly say something, but what's the undertone of that critical element? So guard against that. Were apologies modeled in the home you grew up in? Did your dad say sorry? Did your mom say sorry? Or whatever guardian you had? Because that tends to then inform the communication style we then have. And if defensiveness is what was modeled, then sadly, that's what we tend to develop as a survival strategy in our relationship. So instead of being accountable, we tend to then be defensive. And the truth is that accountability is asking us to pause, to regulate ourselves, to breathe. The fourth aspect is lack of self-awareness. And this is where we have blind spots about ourselves. And the truth is, myself included, sometimes we genuinely don't notice our own triggers. We genuinely don't see them. We don't see the patterns, the tone, the body language until someone tells us, until love holds a mirror in front of us to say, hey, my love, no, you can't keep doing this. You can't keep reacting this. You can't take responsibility for what you can't see. Self-awareness must be cultivated in us as individuals in order for us to be able to, navigate the conflict that tends to happen in relationships. Then there's control and power struggles. Do we want to win an argument versus repair? Some of us resist accountability because it's experienced as losing. You don't want to lose an argument. You want to be in control. You want to dominate the conversation. And the truth is that in unhealthy dynamics, I'm sorry, just those words, saying I'm sorry, feels like I'm surrendering my power. If I say sorry first, he must say sorry first. Why must I say sorry first? Yeah? But the truth is, if you reframe that, you're not showing weakness by saying sorry first. If anything, you're showing leadership. You're showing strength. And in a Christ-centered home, it's strength. It is strength to say sorry first, because love lays down pride to protect the relationship. James 1:19 says, be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger. And from a spiritual perspective, the truth is the gospel invites us out of hiding. We can face what's true because our hope is not in ourselves. Our hope is in our Savior. It lies in God's mercy and not our perfection. James 1:14 says, but each one is tempted when he is drawn away by his own desires and enticed. So without humility, a person becomes blind to their own faults. And a practical spiritual step to taking accountability is to introspect and leverage the word of God. Psalm 139:23 says, search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. And of course, then a humble response thereafter is to approach your spouse, your partner, and address what it is. Name it and address it. Own the issue. So a question to ask one another this afternoon is, where am I avoiding the truth? And what would humility look like this week?
Wow. Amazing. Isn't that great? You guys are so kind because it's, I'm enjoying myself here. Can actually continue. Wow. I think by now you understand that the health of the relationship really begins with self. It doesn't begin with the other person. It just begins with self. When we begin to work on ourselves, when we begin to reflect, when we begin to hold ourselves accountable, we are actually halfway to actually building health relationships. I want to talk about what are the negative effects of the lack of personal accountability. One of them is trust, because where there is lack of personal accountability, it becomes impossible to actually build trust. So if you are in a relationship and you want to trust one another and to build trust within the context of a relationship, it just means that you are not going to start by demanding trust from your partner. It begins by you showing up as a person who has decided to be held accountable at a personal level. When you offer that opportunity to be you offer that, you create a platform to be a person that is going to hold themselves accountable, you are actually laying the foundation for trust. It's simple things like this, men. I'll speak for men as well, because we sometimes can be very stubborn and can begin to view our partners as controlling. If you are going somewhere and tell your wife where you are going, Tell your wife or your boy, your girlfriend when you intend to actually come. When you arrive, say, "Oh, okay." You can speak on your behalf. But let me speak to my brothers. When you arrive there, say that you have arrived. Don't just assume that your partner who assume that you have arrived. Arrive and say, I've arrived and I'm safe and sound. If it happens that you have enjoyed the company of your friend and you promise that you're going to your house at a particular time and it seems like you're not going to make it at a particular time, humble yourself, as we have already been taught, and say, Ella, I know I said I'm coming home at this particular time, but it seems that I'm not going to leave the time I promised. What you are actually doing there, you are not being less of a man. You are being a leader, but also you are creating a platform for trust. If your partner keep on asking you, questioning you, and if you say you're going to Joburg and they say are you really going to Joburg? It just means that in the setup of the relationship, a platform for trust hasn't been built. And the reason why that hasn't been built is because there's a lack of personal accountability. But also what it means is that where there is lack of personal accountability, it also means that it becomes very impossible for conflicts to be resolved. Because if I lack personal accountability, my wife lacks personal accountability. So what it means is that I'll hold my side, she'll hold my side, and there's no one who's going to be willing to actually listen and get to a place where conflicts are resolved. Here is what happens, is that where there is lack of personal accountability, usually, as we have already been taught, there is a high level of pride. This is where, remember that anytime you remain in pride, what you have decided to do is that you have chosen yourself and not the relationship. It also means that if you have chosen yourself more than you have chosen the health of the relationship, it means that relationship is not going to last. And there's no conflict that is going to be resolved. So when we are saying we want to choose personal accountability, we are also choosing to say conflicts that we have struggled to resolve, we want to resolve them. Because the moment I choose personal accountability, I give my relationship an opportunity to actually get to a place where it can become a healthy relationship. Where there is also lack of personal accountability is that partners withdraw to protect themselves from feeling unheard and invalidated. There's nothing, ladies and gentlemen, that is painful in the relationship where you keep on raising a particular concern and your partner doesn't care about that concern and they only think that you are the problem. What happens there is that one person who feels invalidated, unheard, because there is the other person has chosen not to be accountable at a personal level. What is going to happen is that one person is going to choose to withdraw because they will understand that here there's nothing that gets done. There's nothing that we can resolve because my partner has chosen not to reflect inwardly. So if you are in a relationship right now and you feel like you are quite disconnected with your partner, or you feel like your partner has withdrawn, don't start by blaming your partner. Reflect and say, what is it that I've contributed that has made my partner to withdraw? If you have the courage, which I think after this session you should have, you can go and ask. Instead of asking to say, why have you withdrawn? You can go and say, I've noticed that for the past few days or few months, few years, we are no longer the way that we used to be. Is there something that I've done or I've contributed to you withdrawing? Are you seeing that? What it's going to do is that person is going to try and open up to begin to share what they think has been the issue. And if they honestly become vulnerable and share, remember, personal accountability isn't about defensiveness. Then take note of that and begin a journey to repair. Where there is also, I've spoken about that as well, where there is a lack of personal accountability, relationship stagnates. Here's how it works. When you fail to take personal responsibility, what you are saying, you are not interested in repairing the relationship. Where you are not interested also in taking personal accountability, you are not giving a chance for the relationship to mature. And what's going to happen in that context, ladies and gentlemen, there will be blame shifting, there will be gaslighting, there will be passive aggression, stonewalling, victim mentality. These things, ladies and gentlemen, will always thrive in the environment where individuals or one person in the relationship has chosen not to hold themselves accountable. Always remember, don't wait your partner to be the first person to hold you accountable. Let it begin with yourself.
I've just told you that 10 minutes. And so, really, the truth is that unaddressed, a lack of accountability doesn't just leave those problems unsolved, it multiplies them. And just moving on to what then is the power of positive personal accountability. The first is that it deepens intimacy. Where I choose vulnerability, it does open, and I've seen it, so I can testify of this. In situations where I've chosen vulnerability, where we've differed, it opens the door for deeper connection, both emotionally and physically. And there is absolutely nothing more attractive than a partner that says, baby, I'm sorry, I hurt you, forgive me, help me do this or become better. The other positive aspect about holding oneself accountable is that it builds emotional intelligence. And the truth is, it builds emotional intelligence that enables you to thrive not just in that relationship, in how you raise the children, in how you relate with your in-laws, in how you show up in the office. So there's a benefit to every facet and sphere of our lives. You grow in how you're aware of yourself, you grow in being empathetic, you begin to feel the pain of the other one, and you definitely grow in how you regulate yourself. I can never emphasize, especially to us women, the power of pausing before just responding, because we can run our mouths as women. We can. It creates a culture of grace. So where accountability exists, forgiveness flows easily. Healing happens faster. Growth is encouraged, not punished. Additionally, another positive around the positives of being accountable at a personal level is it empowers you as an individual. You stop being the victim of your own patterns. You literally sit yourself down, introspect, start to see what's been held in terms of being highlighted around what you need to work on. And instead, you work together. You become, you co-create the change that you want to see. So I want to emphasize again this afternoon. Accountability is not weakness. Firstborn ladies, accountability is not weakness. I'm saying that because I'm a firstborn. And I know, that aspect of having siblings, of mom and dad entrusting something to you, there's a certain hardness or toughness that we tend to possess as women. So we want to lead. We don't want to be accountable. We don't want to admit where we're at fault. We want to blame the workplace, this busy schedule, or the nanny, whatever it is. No. Taking yourself accountable or holding yourself accountable is not weakness. If anything, I strongly believe it is the birthplace of personal power. It reflects spiritual maturity as well. Holding yourself accountable reflects spiritual maturity. We're asked in Galatians 6:4, let each one examine his own work. Matthew 7:5, first remove the plank from who? Yourself before the next person. And really, spiritual maturity is measured not by how rarely we fail, but by how quickly we turn back, own something, and seek restoration in our relationships.
Just to conclude, I know we've been given a red card. And I think it's also a point, and I'll just raise a few things to conclude the first session. Is that I think something that she raised in the beginning is that it's funny that we choose to get married, You can walk naked because you feel free because the person that you are married to. But we can easily do that. We can easily be intimate. But yet we can be so much in a state of self-preservation. Where we don't want our to be vulnerable, to be open. But really, ladies and gentlemen, if our relationships are going to thrive, relationships would demand a certain level of vulnerability and openness. That if it takes you saying sorry, if it takes you saying I made a mistake, if it takes you humbling yourself, that will give you the sort of relationship that you are looking for. If you preserve yourself because you think you are a man, sorry men, today I think I'm on your case, it's not going to work that way. In fact, part of leadership is the fact that we just don't sit and say I am the leader of the house. It means that you begin to be the initiator of those things that you think are needed for the relationship to work. So if it means that humility is needed in the relationship, it means that you take the lead to show humility. If it means that openness and personal accountability is needed to make the relationship work, don't wait for your wife, for your lady to lead. You take the initiative to do that, because that's what leaders do. Are we together, brothers? So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, is that for a relationship to thrive, it requires both individuals in the relationship to actually choose to become individuals that appreciates and values personal accountability. Personal accountability is the bridge between conflict and connection, immaturity and growth, brokenness and a thriving relationship. Where there is personal accountability, a culture or trust deepens, love matures, peace increases. The relationship flourishes not because problems have disappeared, but because you have come to grow and you have come to know how to repair. The degree to which you can own your part is the degree to which your relationship can heal. Defensiveness, denial, blame is not going to heal and give back to the sort of relationship that we are looking for. Personal accountability will do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. K. All the best in giving. My voice is doing it. Great. But I just want to take a second to welcome those that have walked in during the presentation. We're honored that you've come to join us this Saturday afternoon. Brother Gift is here. He, in his own words, would say we are fixing the country. Because once the families are fixed, once relationships are fixed, families are fixed, children are brought up correctly. So if you look at it, we are doing